So you want to know what a night shift looks like as a firefighter? Well, I'm pleased to tell you that you're in the right place. To get the best insight and the best knowledge possible, I highly recommend that you watch the whole video all the way through, as it will give you an overall better understanding of what we do as a firefighter on a night shift. Yes guys, welcome back to the channel. If you don't know already, my name's Cameron. I'm currently a firefighter here in the UK. Have been now for coming up to 2 years, I believe. So if you're not aware, on this channel we talk about the fire service, and I'll give you guys my advice, things I wish I knew when I was in your position going through the recruitment process. Now I also want to take this channel a little bit further. I want to broaden out a little bit. Just like you guys, I also have different interests. I like doing vlogs, which I've done one actually when I went to London not that long ago. Had a good feedback about that vlog actually. It was something a little bit different, sorry, but some of you guys liked it as you got to see what other things that I'm interested in. It's just like you, as I've just mentioned, we've all got different interests, haven't we? We all do different things. We don't all just love the fire service and that's all we ever do. We've all got different hobbies, different interests that we do outside of work. And my big goal on this channel is to document my journey as I go through life, I suppose, and just give you guys advice of what I've learned on the way throughout my journey, throughout my experiences. And the fire service has been a big part of my life so far, so this is me giving you guys what I've learned. And when I make these videos, I'm almost talking now into the camera, but I'm almost talking to my younger self, 20-year-old Cam, who was applying to be a firefighter, and he didn't really know much about the fire service. There wasn't a lot online, because as you know, what I found especially was that these kind of videos that I'm making, sorry if you can hear the rain, absolutely pissing down here in the UK. As you guys probably know, it's nothing new, it's always fucking shit, and the weather here in the UK. Apologies for my language, but that's the best way I can describe this weather. Hopefully it doesn't sound too bad on the audio. But yeah, as I was saying, when I'm making these videos, I am literally talking to my younger self. And I know a lot of you guys that are in the position that I used to be in. And as I've just said, there wasn't a lot of information online. There was nobody making these videos that I'm making, especially for you guys. And if there was, it was almost, I remember it being like mainly American focused. There was a guy, I think his YouTube channel's Firefighter now, I believe, but he was American, so it's different to the United Kingdom. It's different to probably other parts of the world. So I thought this is a gap in the market where I can give you guys, through my experience going through the recruitment process and my knowledge, the best and valuable information as I can. Now, as you can see from the title, in today's video we're going to be discussing what a night shift typically looks like as a firefighter. This video has been highly requested ever since I've done my what our day in the life as a firefighter looks like. If you haven't watched that video yet, I'll leave a link to it here. This video gives, as I said, a typical day in the life as a firefighter. I run you through what we go through in a day. However, the same kind of principles from that video will go in this video as I discuss through the kind of things that we do throughout the shift. Always bear in mind that these things are not always certain. Like I said before, if you haven't watched that video, then I mentioned that as firefighters, we don't know when we're going to get called out to incidents, so therefore we've almost got to do what we can do. But then if we get called out, then our days could be jumbled up a bit different, which I presume a lot of you guys watching this expect. If you are an aspiring firefighter and you want to take your firefighting career seriously and you want to get in the best position possible to become a firefighter, within the next 1 or 2 weeks from when this video actually drops, I've got something very exciting coming out. Now, this is a package offer and it will include my top 3 secrets to become a firefighter. This package will first be released via email, but you have to be signed up to my newsletter. I know a lot of you guys watching this are signed up to my newsletter, which is great. Now, of course, this is information which I've never spoke about on the channel, mainly for no particular reason, but something that I feel like is a lot more valuable and something which I've learned and sat down for in front of my laptop and actually thought about what can I give my subscribers to give them the best possible chance to acquire the dream job that they've always wanted. Now, of course, being in your position and looking at the top 3 secrets which I'm going to give to you guys, these are things that I could have only dreamt of having when I was in your position, and I'm actually quite envious at the fact that I can't have them and you guys can. And like I just mentioned, the purpose behind the 3 secrets is to put you guys in the best position possible. Now, I'm 99% sure that if you guys do follow what's inside this small ebook, then you will put yourself ahead of thousands of other people in your position. This is things that I've learned, which, as I say, I've been through it, so I know roughly like how to pass it, especially because I failed twice. So I guess the first 2 times I was learning and learning, then the 3rd time I passed it and I was like, oh, okay then. But then also I've been through it with 20 other people who were going through the same recruitment process. I've been on station and I've spoke to new recruits who have gone through it recently. So in my mind, everything's quite fresh on how things are. Of course, things will change. So these things that I'm putting in place isn't me saying you will guarantee to get in the fire service, because I haven't got that power, unfortunately. But what I have got is experience and knowledge, and I could give you guys a faster track, I suppose, to get into where you want to get to, and to almost, yeah, give you guys what I really, really wish I had when I was in your position. Now, if you didn't know already, I will be capping the downloads on this at 25. That means only 25 of you people will get it. Now, the reason behind this is because I want to kind of keep it exclusive. I don't want this to get out to hundreds and hundreds of people, because then that kind of defeats the object of it being a secret as such. And don't get me wrong, if I wanted to, I could just release it to 100, 200, 300 of you guys, but I'm going to keep the cap very small at the start at 25 downloads. I've already had about 10 to 15 of you guys messaging me, asking me when it's going to drop, when you can get it, things like that. If you've signed up on the page or you've downloaded the Firefighter exercise plan, which I gave you guys for free, if you do want that plan, by the way, the link's in the description. But yeah, if you've done both of those or either of those, then you are confirmed on the email list. Also, make sure that you've confirmed your subscription to the email list. It's completely free, so you'll find that when you go on the page, you'll put your email in, but then you'll have to go to your email to kind of verify your email address, and that is when you will become on my list. If you just put your email in and just leave it at that and you don't check your actual email, then you won't be on the list. Now remember, some of the emails might go to your junk, so check your junk folders. Same when I release the newsletter, as I'm about to mention, I will be releasing it to those guys on my newsletter. This is the benefit of being on my newsletter, one day before it comes onto YouTube. Now don't worry, I'll give you guys a heads up of when that day is going to be, so you can set a reminder, whatever you want to do on your phones. But like I just mentioned, only 25 of you will probably have a chance to get it. So make sure that you subscribe to my newsletter. The link's going to be in the description. Like I said, it's completely free. All I need is your email address, because obviously that's where I'll be sending you the secrets package. And inside the package, there's a couple other benefits as well, which is why I'm calling it a package, because you don't just get the top 3 secrets, you get a couple other extras as well, which I thought would be nice for you guys. Now, depending on the demand will depend on whether I open it up to anybody else. So yeah, just a little message there from me, but good luck to everybody going for it. As I say, it'll be within the next 1 or 2 weeks. Make sure you keep checking your emails and put your notifications on. Sometimes my emails from my newsletter go into your junk folder, so of course be aware of that. But yeah, let's get into the video. So as you guys are probably aware, the fire service I work for, on the day shifts we do 8 AM till 6 PM, and on the night shifts we do 6 PM till 8 AM. Now this consists of a 2-2-4 rota, so 2 days, 2 nights, and then we get 4 days off. So having said that, the night shift schedule and kind of shift that I'm working towards in this video will be a 6 PM until an 8 AM finish. So for you guys that have watched and remembered my first video in what our day looks like, I mentioned how important it is to arrive to work early as a firefighter. Also as any other profession probably, but being that we're talking about the fire service, we'll keep it as a firefighter in this video. So your shift technically starts at 17:59. So like I mentioned, for you guys that are going to get on station, you'll probably already know this, but make sure you arrive 10 to 15 minutes early at the bare minimum. This 10 to 15 minutes also gives you time to go to the toilet if you need to, go to your locker, sort out any bits and bobs that you've got, and get ready for parade at 5:59. Now on parade, this is where your officer will detail you what is in store for tonight, anything you've got planned, any training, any kind of policies that he or she needs to go through. Also, what's for dinner, that's probably an important one as well, what we got for supper. I'll talk more about dinner later, but sometimes you may have to go out and get dinner. After your parade is done, you'll go to the kit room, get all the kit that you need for the shift, and then go to the appliance. Of course, at this point, you'll sit where your designated seat is, which your driver would have told you on parade. Officer. And then from 6 PM till about 7 PM, so the first hour of your shift is the same as the first hour of your shift on a day shift, really. This is where you're checking the truck, making sure all the equipment's there, making sure it's all been tested, making sure it all works. As I mentioned on the day shift video as well, the officer may tell you any equipment that's missing off the truck, so if you see it and it's gone, you know not to worry as such, because the day crew have reported it missing or faulty, or maybe it's got to go off to test or things like that. So yeah, once you come into the end of this now, you may go in the kitchen, may have a cup of tea with you and your crew just for 5 minutes, and that will take you roughly up until about 7 o'clock. Now from 7 until 9 o'clock, this is where we do our kind of important stuff as such. So you may have to go out and do a safe and well visit, because if you don't know what one of them is, I know that you haven't watched my last video. A link to that video I'll leave here for anybody that wants to watch it. In this video we talk about the other things that we do as firefighters that doesn't involve just fighting fires, because as you guys are probably aware, as firefighters we do not only fight fires. Other examples of work that we might get done within this 2 hour period is Training, we could do training at our own station, we could have to go to another station to do training. We may have to do some admin work on the computers, any e-learning packages that we have to do to familiarise ourselves and keep up to date with the policies and procedures that are going on around in our brigade. And sorry, what I mean by an e-learning package is it's like an online test as such, where you will go through and maybe familiarise yourself with a piece of kit and how to use it, and there'll be information on a page, for example, and then at the end you'll have a test or a little quiz where it'll ask you questions about what you've just learned or what you've just read. Now these renew probably after normally 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or sometimes you only have to do them once. This is just to keep your mind refreshed and to keep your competence up. Now from 9 to 10 o'clock I've put here as dinner time, probably everyone's favourite time of the shift. And one thing I will say to anyone out there who is trying to stick to a diet, or you are probably in good shape now when you're applying to be a firefighter, just keep your motivation high and keep your discipline high, because if you don't know already, firefighters like big portions, and I can definitely tell you from experience that I've put on a bit of weight from when I first started to now. I've tried to maintain it, but it's not easy. And like I mentioned earlier, on parade you'll talk about your dinner, probably if you have to go to shop. And now this is because as a crew, the majority of crews anyway, some stations don't eat together, or some watches should I say, but the majority of watches do eat together, so sometimes you have to go to your local supermarket to get ingredients. Every station I've been on in the brigade I work for, we've got our own kitchen area, so you can just buy fresh ingredients, you can cook it at station. Sometimes people cook it and bring it in just to warm up. It all depends on your watch and what you've got planned for the night essentially. You could have a busy night doing loads of training, for example, so you know you haven't got time really to cook, especially if you get called out to an incident. So what you have for dinner as a crew will depend on what you've got on a night shift, or whether you get called out at the start of your shift and then you're out all night at a job. So you never actually know what you're going to have for dinner as such. You just always got a plan as if you weren't going to get an incident. But of course, as you guys are aware, this is random and you don't know when you're going to get called out, do you? So you're probably thinking, who cooks the dinner? Is there one designated person to cook the dinner? This also depends on a watch. Some stations actually have cooks who will cook for the watches, others don't. The station I'm at doesn't have a cook, however I believe they did have a cook, but I wasn't in the fire service at that point. But as our watch, we'll take it in turns really. Someone will do it one night, the other one will do it next night, and it just depends. No one really minds cooking, but we just take it in turns. Now after we eat our dinner, as I say, this probably takes up to about 10, half 10. After we eat our dinner, you might sit down for a minute just to watch some TV or something, because I guess you are still on that kind of lunch break in your shift. One thing that I just want to mention as well is that some people actually, as I say, don't eat when they get to work. Some people will have big dinners before they come in. Some people, when the crews are cooking, they will go into the gym, for example, for an hour or so. Because you are still allocated that gym time, it's still part of your shift, even though it's a night shift. You are still allocated that time to use the gym facility. And that takes a lot of motivation, let me tell you now. So big props to anyone out there that's doing that. I think I've been gym on a night shift maybe 2 or 3 times max. So next we've got 10 o'clock up until around midnight. Now this is when we'll probably mainly be doing admin work. So maybe that's things like putting evidence on our development plans as recruits anyway. Or if you are competent, you have to also record evidence, but it goes to a different kind of plan, I suppose. We may also be entering safe and wells on the system. As I mentioned earlier, if you haven't watched that video, make sure you go and watch it. It was my last video. That is where I tell you what a safe and well is for anybody that's confused. But yeah, we might also be doing things like booking the diary out, booking upcoming training, upcoming things that we need to do, school visits as well, things like that. This is a time where people, I think, around the station will kind of just go on the computer as such and do what they've needed to do, or do anything that they need to catch up on. As a new recruit especially, this is where you might be in the office with your manager, just talking through your plans, talking through your progression as such, of where you're going to go, where your assessments are going to be, things like that. Now next we're going to talk about from around midnight to 1 AM up until about 5, 6 AM in the morning. Now this is the time that firefighters get a chance and are able to rest. Now of course, as firefighters we could have a really long shift, so we are allocated time to rest in our shift. And like I said previously, we never actually know when we're going to get called out, so it could have been a case of we were out from near on when we started up until about midnight. Now we obviously need our time to rest because it's good for our welfare, it keeps us kind of alert, as the last thing you guys want as calling firefighters, for example, is us turning up when we can't even see straight as such. So it's very important to keep our welfare in check and to keep us healthy as firefighters. So that is why I think we're allowed the rest. Now, of course, you're not obliged to rest. You don't have to do it. As a new recruit, you may be inclined to go to the truck and get equipment off, because you can still do that at any point in your shift. Even if the lads are eating dinner and you're not, you can still go to the truck and get some equipment off that you know you need familiarising with, something that isn't quite clicking in your head that you need to get yourself familiar with. This might be a time of the night where nobody's really around as such, and you just want some quiet time on your own to go around the truck and just look at equipment, get it out, get your hands on it, and just use the time wisely. However, you probably will find that your gaffer will probably ask you to rest, because as I just mentioned, it's very important. They don't just tell you to rest for the sake of it, it's obviously very important for your welfare. Now, from around 6 AM till 7:59 AM, this is roughly the last 2 hours of your shift. And just like the end of a day shift, this is when we will clean the station in preparation for, now it would be the day crew, who start at 8 AM. Some firefighters like to eat breakfast in the morning. I wait until I get home till I eat my breakfast, but everybody's different. As long as everything's done and your gaffer's happy with you, I suppose, then I don't see anything wrong with having some breakfast while at work. And just like the day shift, when 59 minutes past the hour comes at the end of your shift, this is when we go to the truck and we'll take our kit off, put it back in the kit room, and then it's time to go home. Some stations will parade off, so it's just like the same as what you do when you start your shift. You also do the same when you end your shift. Our station, the one I work for, my watch, we don't, but as I say, some stations do. But then after that, it is home time, so get to your locker, get your car keys, get your bag, and go home. And that is a wrap, guys. That is the end of how does a night shift look as a firefighter. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Thank you so much if you've made it this far through. All I ask, please, if you can like and subscribe to the channel, as it motivates me to keep doing more of these kind of videos for you guys. As I've mentioned, there's something really exciting coming out within the next week or so, so get on my newsletter if you haven't already. But thank you again. Have a great day or night wherever you are in the world watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.